What is good, Counter-Strike fans? Welcome back to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. We're finally in Stage 3 of the Budapest Major. All the big teams are finally now, in the tournament, in the Major. And yeah, excited to watch great Counter-Strike again. Will there be upsets? Probably. Um, who will make it to the playoffs is going to be interesting to see. And yeah, bringing you this video all within 6 hours, like probably five and a half hours before the event starts. So apologies there, but this is the best time that I could record at. But yeah, let's take a look back at how I did in stage 2 of my fantasy. And I got top 64%, only 2 points. Twist did really well, but unfortunately, the rest of the team stunk. Snappy -24. I didn't have high expectations of him, but because I picked Snappy in order to force Antares, who did really poorly. In general, Aurora did really poorly as well, so that kind of sucked. And then I picked Swisher and Skapersky, and yeah, did not do well there either. So yeah, Twist basically saved my team to get at least some points out of this event. And if you picked Navi players, Face players, Paravision, and then Maka, you probably did quite well in this stage of fantasy. As for my PickEms in stage 2, got one of my 3-0 correct in Navi, got one of my 0-3s correct in MIBR. And going into the final day, I was guaranteed 4 correct picks because I had Liquid, Astralis, NIP, and 3 Max facing one another in the 2-2 matchup. So I was either going to get 4 correct or I was going to get 5, depending on M80's result. M80, who had to face Passion UA. I was thinking, M80 are the better NA team. They look quite strong going to stage 1, and then stage 2 started out quite strong as well. And then had to face Passion UA and NA on NA Crime. Passion UA beat M80 and basically ruining my chances of getting the diamond coin. So road to diamond is no more. Now there's gonna be a road to gold. And yeah, what can you do? It was gonna be hard anyways. This type of setup now that the Major do and that Counter-Strike does to get pick'ems is a lot harder, which makes sense. But yeah, in stage 1 I got 5 correct. Unfortunately, in stage 2 our road to diamond ends by only getting 4 correct. So let's talk about the players that are getting chosen the most. So currently right here, as you can see, again, took this from the Reddit. Some of the most picked players, or most picked teams actually, for 3-0. So you can see it's pretty mixed. For 3-0, we have a couple Furias, quite a bit of Vitalities, a couple Falcons in there as well, with a little hint of Mouse Spirit in there. As for the 0-3s, Passion UA is pretty common. Imperial's even more common than them. A couple Liquids, a couple Paravision in there. And then for the advancing, Spirit, Navi, Furia, Mouse, Face Clan, G2 are the most common picks. So as for my pick'ems, while I'm not going for diamond, I still want to get gold. I want to start off with the 3-0s like always, and the options have to be Vitality, Falcons, Mouse, and Furia. I'll give you my pros and cons for each one. Vitality, overall very strong team. Their form has been a little bit iffy now, but I do believe in the team. I believe they're going to be well prepared for the Major. They do have a lot of firepower as well, so BO1 shouldn't be an issue. However, they are facing FaZe, who, FaZe at the Major, different type of team. They looked really poor in stage 1, they look really strong in stage 2, and in a BO1 anything can happen, but I do believe Vitality should win that. So I will have them as my first 3-0. I think just putting them through as 3-0, I think they're the smart pick, and pretty safe option as well for a 3-0 pick. And now that leaves Falcons, Mouse, and Furia. For Falcons, I just don't know. The team has firepower. I just feel like the chemistry is quite off. Also, they mentioned that they might not boot camp as much. They were gonna take some time to rest, which I do agree that most CS teams should have some time to take time off, but doesn't give me a lot of confidence with them. They are also facing Bait, who are a great BO1 team, and who beat Falcons previously before. Falcons also, I just feel like they'll get caught off in one of the BO1s, maybe in a BO3 as well. So I just don't think they'll do the run as cleanly. For Furia, I do like Furia a lot. They've been the second best team, the best team actually in the second half of the year. They've been quite strong as well. They've been winning a couple events in a row. But I just feel like Furia kind of start off slow in events. I feel like in the first matchup facing Navi, that's quite tough. And I feel like Navi can catch them off guard. They've already been warmed up already. Furia have not. And I feel like this could be a wake-up call for them. And I feel like Furia could lose that first matchup as well. So I'm not going to have Furia in there, which leaves Mouse, who I believe should go 3-0. I think they're a boring but safe pick. They usually beat teams that are worse than them. It's just when they face anyone that's better than them, they struggle. But I don't expect them to face anyone too strong on their way to 3-0. Also, Mouse are known to be group stage, merchants. They struggle in playoffs, but they do quite well in group stage. So I think we'll see that there. And then also, I like that Torshi is the major hero basically of the Hungary. So Budapest will be cheering for Torshi to do quite well. So I'll have them as my next 3-0 team. As for my 0-3 picks, I think the options have to be Imperial, Passion UA, Pain thrown in there, maybe Paravision, and then outside options, Mongols are definitely an option that might go 0-3. You could throw in 3D Max, Liquid as well if you like. I think the first 0-3 team will be Passion UA. Is this maybe revenge for them beating M80? Maybe. But I just wasn't impressed by Passion UA. I don't think they have enough firepower for BO1s. Also, the matchups will be quite tough for them as they go to 0-2s. And I just think they're the worst team on this stage currently. I'm going to say Liquid will at least win a game. 3D Max also will probably win a game. Bay could win a BO1 quite easily as well. Mongols is tough, but I think Mongols should win. And then that leaves us with Pain and Imperial. Paravision I think will also win one as well. But Pain and Imperial, this is, I believe, they are facing one another. No, actually no. Let me confirm. No, Pain is facing 3D Max and Imperial is facing Mongols. I feel like Pain and 3D Max is at 50-50. I will lean 3D Max, however. So I think they'll win one of these. But Imperial versus Mongols, I could see Imperial warmed up and form. They got into stage 1 without many predicting them to go through. They got into stage 2 as well without many predicting them to do so. Versus the Mongols team who's missing Sensu, who has a stand-in basically for him. But I don't know. Mongols should win one, right? They should not go 0-3. No way. Someone have Imperial being the next 0-3 team. They outperformed what they should have been, but I think this is where they go off. I think this is where they get eliminated. And then for my advancing teams, I think you gotta have in Furia, strong team. They should make playoffs. Probably the favorite of the major. I think also Falcons should go in there as an advancing team. These are 2 guarantees for sure. Spirit. Actually, no. Spirit, I'm not fully feeling right now. I think I'd rather go Navi. Navi, I think for sure. And I think G2 as well. To go advancing. I think Navi for sure will get there. G2, they haven't looked informed, but I feel like, you have Saw behind you. Saw's a coach, you're gonna advance with Saw. He's gonna advance. And then for the advancing teams, I think someone like Spirit could get there. FaZe as well. I like maybe an outside shot of Liquid. Maybe it's my NA bias, but Liquid is interesting there as well. I'm gonna go with Spirit. I think Dunk should do enough to carry them to at least the playoffs. And hope that, Dunk and Hero carry them, and then Tinier wakes up, and then, they call good rounds, I guess. Chopper needs to call better rounds. And then finally, I'm gonna go with FaZe. I believe in the FaZe major boost. I like what I saw from them stage 2. Hopefully they bring it to stage 3. Hopefully Brokey wakes up eventually. If he wakes up, FaZe will sure makes it to the playoffs. If he doesn't, then I think it's going to be, again, another carry job by Brokey and Twist. And I mean, Jacob did wake up a little bit more now. So this could be my pick'ems. Very straightforward, very chalky. But I just feel like, I just don't know. I just feel like we should get at least 5 with these. I know people might throw in like a Mongols in their Paravision, just to get a little spicy, but just go smart and just go safe. And I think this is the safest option for me. Now we can talk about the most picked players. And currently, the most picked player is Kicksang, with about, less than 30% pick rate. So not a lot of high pick players. So there's a lot of options to go differential in this event. And also do remember that this event does give 50% more season points for each placement tier. So let's say if you get 8 points, you'll get an extra 4 points on top of that. So yeah, very important to do well here if you're still in the hunt for prices for the top 100, for the top 10 overall. So yeah, Kicksang, most picked by Falcons alongside Monacy. We do see some Furia players in Molzoy, Fallen, and Jakindar. Apex from Vitality, and then Navi players from Wonderful and Bit, but not a lot of high pick percentages, so definitely options to go differential here. Now we can talk about the players individually, who are the best value for money, who are not options for the price, etc. We're gonna start off with Furia. Well, I do believe Furia will get through, whether it be 3-0, 3-1, they'll get through. They're one of the favorites. Their price is a little bit high. If I were to go with players from here, I'd say Jakindar's my favorite option at 211. He's been performing quite well. He's definitely that third best player currently. And when he's on, he can carry a game. Unfortunately, sometimes he doesn't perform to his standards and he can be off. He's kind of inconsistent, but I feel like with the way the Fury has been playing, he's found his consistency. He doesn't have to be entry as much anymore. I feel like Kisarado and him and Jakindar have switched entry positions in certain maps, and Jakindar sometimes kind of lurks by himself. So I think that's improved his rating potential as well. So Jakindar's my favorite option from Furia, and I would pick either Kisarado or Jury alongside him. I think Kisarado, because he is the star of Furia still, even though Moldoy is getting a lot of praise. I think Kisarado still puts up some better ratings. And Jury is just a cheaper option if you want to double up with Furia. I would not pick Moldoy. I mean, I don't mind Moldoy as a differential, but I think he's too highly chosen for me. And then Fallen at 190 is probably not worth it at that price. For Vitality, my favorite option has to be Flamesy at 212. He's very strong, performing as the third best player now, quite clearly ahead of Messi now, and sometimes ahead of Robs as well, depending on the type of game. So I think Flamesy is the best option at 212. Then I would go Saiwu, if you want to pick into him, but I just 235 is a little bit too much for me. Otherwise, Rob's fine at 217. Not great, not bad. Messi and Apex, I just don't know how to feel about them. They've been quite poor. Their ratings haven't been up to their first half of the year, and they've been putting up like low 1 ratings for Messi, and then Apex is putting up 0.8, 0.9. So yeah, Flamesy probably my favorite option here. If you want to double up, you can. Otherwise, just probably pick Flamesy. For Falcons, I think this team has a clear option in Mondesi. He's been their best player. He's been carrying them a lot of times in games. 225 is quite a steep price, especially with a lot of options in this stage. But I think Mondesi will do quite well. If you want to go someone cheap, Kicksan is definitely an option at 187. He's been performing better than Tess is, which is interesting. He's been putting up a 1 rating as well, so he might be an IGL, but at least he's putting up ratings. And 187 is not breaking the bank. If you want to go, not go, chalky and go Mondesi and Kicksan, definitely could look into Nico as well. Tess is our boy, Kyosuke our boy as well for the price. For Mouse, I think you have to look into Torchy. He hasn't been great form-wise recently, but I feel like this is his type of event. He does quite well, in group stages, and he's gonna be in his home country, so he'll want to perform. You can pair him up with someone like Jim Hat at 204 to save some money. Otherwise, I would spend up for Sershin at 212. Would not look into Brolin. Would not look into Spinks. For Mongols, I just don't feel comfortable with this team. I don't know what to expect of them. I hope that they do well, because they've been so consistent throughout the whole year, and just right before the major they lose Sensu. But I just don't feel like the team is consistent enough without him, or has enough firepower. If you want to pick anyone from Mongols, definitely 910 would be your option, and maybe Control List as well, alongside maybe like Techno, as your main 3 options. But otherwise, I wouldn't pick it to Mongols. For Spirit, it has to be Shiro, it has to be Dunk. Prefer Shiro for a cheaper price. But yeah, it has to be these two who are basically the carries for Spirit. If you want to take a little punt, maybe look into Tenier or Sway. Probably Tenier, just because he's at least shown some form and some ratings with Spirit. But Sway hasn't. But yeah, Shiro and Dunk has to be for Spirit. For Navi, your main options have to be Bit and Wonderful. They were the best 2 in stage 2, and they've been, I guess, the most consistent over the last few months as well. And they're really well priced as well. Bit and Wonderful, they might be some of the best price players as well. If you want to go a little bit differential, look into Ime at 200,000. He did not perform well in stage 1, but I think he will bounce back here. Makase as well as an option at 205, but again, I'd rather go with Bit for a little bit more, or go down into Wonderful and Ime. Alexi B at 179 is not bad, but it's not great. Alexi B is going to put up a 0.9, but if you like that, then go ahead with Alexi. For G2, I think all 5 are options. Again, the way the G2 plays is just allows all 5 players to pop off. However, I do believe that Heavy God and Maries are the best options and the best value for money players. If I had to go with one, I'd rather go with Maries. I just think he's done a little bit better against top 30 opposition, while Heavy God has done better in general. And I think because we're facing tougher opposition, I think Maries will perform a little bit better there. Malv hasn't done that great, but he does still have a lot of star positions, so he should perform better eventually. Some Pius is the Opera. I don't know what else I can say with him. And Hunter at 185, actually not bad. He hasn't been great fragging IGL recently, but he has that history, and I feel like he could bounce back. For Payne, I would not go here. But if you wanted to go here, I think you have to go to Snow. He's gotten back his rotator positions. He's looked a lot better as well, feeling more comfortable in those positions. Um, and the team has looked a little bit better as well with him in those positions. So Snow's first option, and then just pair him up with Sarah. Would not spend up on DGT, David Dales, or NQC, honestly. For Face Clan, again, it has to be Frozen, it has to be Twist, just like Spirit. These are the two hard carries of Face. Jacob, while he did better in the last stage, I'm still not confident enough in him at 195. However, Brokey at 186 is an option. I know he's been very poor. He has a less than a 1 rating. I think he has a 0.94 rating over the last month. But I think at 186, you can definitely take a punt there. He doesn't break the bank. And, you never know. Maybe Brokey wakes up against tougher opposition. I don't know. Maybe it's Copium. But yeah, I can't believe that Brokey has gone from a top 20 player consistently in CSGO to now, basically about to be kicked off a phase after the major. Kerrigan, don't go there. 3 Max, again, would not go there. Yeah, maybe Maka because he's usually the highest performer, but yeah, most of the team kind of struggles to put up rating. Liquid, I think for Liquid it has to be Naf again. Ever since the Leech has come back, he's looked a lot better, more comfortable in his roles. If you want to pair up with someone, maybe Nurse because he's finally woken up in stage 2. It took him this long to wake up for Liquid, but he's been great. Don't go Shuhi. He's not been performing well. If you want, I'd rather spend less for Ultimate than spend up to a Leech for Liquid as well. Bait, I think for Bait, Nipple, NPL, Nipple, he's the most consistent option. So if you want to go there, definitely go with him. If you want to spend less money, look into Kenzie Store for more consistency or Head Trick for the upside. And then between Alex and Essential, I just rather go with Essential. Actually, Alex for 184. Passion UA, don't go here. But if you have to, pick Rim. Paravision, it's actually not bad. They have good value for money players like Shello and Nora. Nora especially, I think is my favorite bronze option at 179. I think if Paravision get to the 2-2 game, I think Nora will be one of the best value for money players for sure. But yeah, if you want to go a super cheapy, definitely pick Nora. Otherwise, Paravision could be a surprise team. They surprised us in stage 1, they surprised us in stage 2, and they can surprise us again in stage 3. Imperial, yeah, don't go here at all. I think Imperial are, again, pretty poor team. If I had to go here, I'd probably go Cello or Skulls. You're super cheap. Try to save some money there. As for my team, this will be my team. I'm going double G2 and Hunter and Marias, double Phase and Twist and Frozen, and then Wonderful from Navi. I'm just going, all around team. All 5 players that can, all like the 2-1-2 where all 3 teams can make the playoffs. I feel more confident in Navi making the playoffs than G2 and then FaZe. But I'm gonna put most of my money in FaZe because if FaZe does well, it'll be because of Twist and Frozen. And you know what? They're great value for money options. I can see FaZe going into a 2-2 game and hoping that Twist and Frozen just put up good enough ratings while they, if they can make the playoffs, I'm happy. If not, then I know they'll put up ratings at least. Unless they get steamrolled by most of these teams, which I hope they don't. But yeah, that's one of the teams I looked at. I think I'm 80%, 90% actually to pick this team. The other team that I looked at was to spend Noda, pick into Bit. Go with who was it? Maddie, Twist, and I believe it was Frozen. So it's basically the same team, except that, you know, I pick Bit instead of Hunter. I don't know. Yeah, I think this team is way better. Honestly, this is probably the team I would go with. Let me know your comments down below. What you think of my team? Let me know what you think of my PickEms in general. And yeah, hope I got this video out. And yeah, hoping to watch some good Counter-Strike and hoping to perform a lot better in this stage. But I'm going to take a punt in FaZe. I'm going to take a punt in G2 and hope that, you know, they carry me and do enough points-wise, make it to the next stage for me to do well. Because I just, you know, I've been performing poor recently, and I think I'm just trying to win some of the event prizes. I think this is a well-rounded team with a lot of upside as well. So yeah, good luck, have fun,